from Studio 3A in Rockefeller Center, USA. It's time for Up Against the Clock. Our first contestant, a Brooklyn native. He now represents part of Brooklyn as the member of Congress from New York's celebrated 10th District. Please welcome Congressman Jerry Nadler. From St. Louis Park, Minnesota, the hometown of Chicago Bears coach Mark Trestman, the Cohen brothers, and Senator Al Franken, say hello to the Big O, Norm Ornstein. And from Alexandria, Virginia, Santa's last stop before Washington, D.C., it's John Stanton. And now, the host of Up Against the Clock, Steve Kornacki.
Oh, thank you, Bill Wolf. Thank you, studio audience, and thank you to everyone tuning in at home, and welcome to an all-new holiday edition of Up Against the Clock. A very exciting group of contestants today. Congressman Nadler, you become just the second active member of Congress to take a spot on Contestants Row. A special welcome to you, and to you, Norm and John, as well. Welcome to the show. You all know the rules by now. We have 3 rounds of play, 100 seconds each. Questions will get harder as we go along. Ring in any time. You will be penalized for a wrong answer. And there are some instant bonuses scattered throughout these questions. As always, I will remind our live studio please remain absolutely silent during these proceedings and respect our contestants as they concentrate. And with that, I will ask you, contestants, are you ready?
Yes, Steve.
Yes. They are ready. We'll put 100 seconds on the clock. This is the 100-point round, and it begins with this. After a ruling by its Supreme Court on Friday, this state became the 18th in the nation. Norm.
Utah.
Utah is correct, where same-sex marriage is now legal. 100-point question. Sarah Palin and Ted Cruz rallied to the defense of Norm.
Duck Dynasty founder.
Duck Dynasty is the show on A&E, and they defended him. That's correct. 100 points for Norm. 100-point question. When its governor signed legislation yesterday, this state became the 18th in the nation to allow immigrant students without legal status to attend.
New Jersey.
New Jersey allowed to attend and pay in-state tuition. That's correct. 100 points for the congressman. 100-point question. President Obama announced on Friday that he will nominate this senator as U.S. Ambassador. Norm.
Max Baucus.
Max Baucus as ambassador to China is correct. This is an instant bonus, Norm, for 100 extra points. Name the current U.S. ambassador to China.
It's Gary, Gary, the former Commerce Secretary, and why am I...
Need an answer? Time. It's Gary Locke is the correct answer. The congressman knew it, but that was only for Norm. No penalty there, though. 100 points on the toss-up. 100-point toss-up question. It was revealed this week that the husband of Liz Cheney, who's running for Senate, is actually registered to vote in 2 different states. Jerry.
Virginia and Wyoming.
Virginia and Wyoming. Her husband is registered in both. That is correct. 100-point question. What high-ranking Capitol Hill leader joined the calls this week for the Washington Redskins to change their name? John.
Harry Reid?
Harry Reid's correct. 100 points for John Stanton. 100-point toss-up. At a meeting at the White House Tuesday, President Obama asked the CEO of Netflix if he brought advance copies of this political thriller. John.
House of Cards.
House of Cards is correct. 100 points for John. Brings us to the end of the 100-point round. The score: Congressman Nadler, 200. Norm Ornstein, 300. John Stanton, 200. Very close, very competitive game so far. And it moves us... As soon as I can sort these cards out, it moves us to the 200-point round. We'll put 100 seconds on the clock. When we see those 100 seconds, we will begin with this. For 200 points, this company, the largest U.S. government defense contractor, announced this week that it will no longer give money to the Boy Scouts of America because of that group's policies on gays. John. Incorrect. Jerry.
Honeywell.
Incorrect. Norm.
Lockheed Martin.
Lockheed Martin's correct. 200 points for Norm. 200-point toss-up. Even though many Republican senators skipped town before a series of confirmation votes on Friday, this senator remained behind, keeping intact his streak of over 6,800 consecutive votes, the longest streak in the Senate. Time. It's Chuck Grassley. Chuck Grassley stayed behind. 200-point question. In an interview with the Wall Street Journal published Wednesday, Representative Paul Ryan said he will seek to become the chairman of what? Norm.
Ways and Means Committee.
He will seek to become the chairman of Ways and Means. That's correct. 200-point question. In a decision that generated global interest, Canada's highest court struck down all of its laws against what this week? Jerry.
Pornography.
Incorrect.
Prostitution.
John, prostitution is correct. The other P word, 200-point toss-up question. Among the tech industry leaders who met with President Obama on Tuesday to discuss how the government can improve IT innovation was this CEO of Apple. Time. See, his name is Tim Cook. 200-point toss-up question. This long-serving Democrat who was reprimanded by the House Ethics Committee 3 years ago. Jerry. Rangel, his colleague. 200-point question. He announced he's running for re-election. Democrats in Virginia are now in control of every statewide office after the Republican candidate for Attorney General conceded Wednesday to this Democrat. Jerry. Herring. Mark Herring is correct. 200 more points for Jerry Nadler. Brings us to the end of the 200-point round. Scored Jerry Nadler 200. That's right, there was a penalty there. Norm with 700 and John Stanton with 200. We go to the 300-point round. This is the PhD level. This is where champions are crowned. Very high stakes here, gentlemen. We'll put 100 seconds on the clock, and the 300-point round begins now. Georgia Congressman Jack Kingston, who is running in a hotly contested Republican primary for Senate, proposed last Saturday that poor school children, Jerry,
should have to sweep the floors for lunch.
Yes, for their subsidized school lunches. That's the correct answer. 300-point question. Harry Reid said this week that he has, quote, grown to really like this Republican Senator. Rand Paul is correct, who last month called him a big bully. 300-point question. President Obama and his family departed the White House last night for Hawaii, where they will be spending their holidays. Next year, Hawaii will be the site of a contentious election, a Democratic primary election between Congresswoman Colleen Hanabusa and this incumbent Senator, Jerry. Brian Schatz is correct. 300-point question. The movie American Hustle, which opens wide this weekend, depicts the famous ab scam scandal that resulted in multiple congressmen being indicted and carted off to prison. American Hustle is directed by whom?
Oh, God, I guess
Norm.
David O. Russell.
David O. Russell's correct. Norm, this is the instant bonus question. 6 members of the House were ultimately convicted of bribery and conspiracy as a result of ab scam, as was one senator who became the first to serve jail time in over 80 years. Name him.
Harrison Pete Williams.
Harrison Pete Williams of New Jersey. 300 more points for Norm. 300-point question. This Emmy, Grammy, and Tony winner and member of the cast of the 1980 film The Big Chill visited Capitol Hill on Wednesday to advocate for stronger mental health laws. Time. It's Glenn Close. 300-point question. On Tuesday, a trio of longtime congressmen announced they would retire next year rather than seek another term. Name one of them. Jerry.
Matheson.
Jim Matheson of Utah. We'll take that. The other two would be Frank Wolf of Virginia or Tom Latham of Iowa. Brings us to the end of the 300-point round with 300 points for Jerry, who finishes with 1,100, just short of the 1,300 points that Norm has. 500 for John Stanton. That means that you, Norm Ornstein, the Big O, today's winner on Up Against the Clock, and Bill Wolf is going to tell you what you've won.
As our champion, you'll have your name printed in exquisite Sharpie on the coveted Up Against the Clock Gold Cup. And you'll get to take the trophy home with you and show it off to friends, family, and local school children for exactly 1 week. You'll also receive an appearance this coming week on MSNBC's The Cycle, airing weekdays, 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern Time. You'll also get to play in our bonus round for today's grand prize, a $50 gift certificate to Rut Hut in Clifton, New Jersey, serving up the best franks in the greater Meadowlands area. Try the deep-fried Ripper. The relish is on us. Back to you, Steve.
Oh, thanks, Bill. That is quite a prize package in Norm. Those hot dogs, I tell you, some of the best hot dogs in the greater Meadowlands area, and your chance to win them now in our jackpot bonus round. This is one question for that $50 gift certificate to Rutt's Hut. Here it is. As we mentioned earlier, President Obama is set to nominate Max Baucus as the next U.S. ambassador to China. One previous ambassador to China went on to become president of the United States. Name him.
President of the United States.
Take a guess?
Steve, no.
Correct answer is George H.W. Bush. He was the ambassador in the 1970s. Unfortunately, you will not be going to Ruts Hut, but you will get everything else in the prize package. You get the Gold Cup. Norm, congratulations. Congressman Nadler, John, you do not leave us empty-handed. We have the home edition for you. That's good, perhaps, holiday gift for someone in your family. And we also have our leaders board we should just show you as we move towards our Tournament of Champions at the end of the year.